guys, it's me Seren, back with another car video. Please excuse my horribly dry fucking skin. It's cold as fuck. Like, it is fucking brick. It's fucking cold and I already have dry skin and that shit just makes my skin even worse. So yeah, ignore my dry fucking skin on my face. It's gonna be a quick car video. It's been highly requested. I wasn't gonna talk really about this, but well, and even what I'm gonna say is probably gonna be like not what you guys are expecting. But a lot of you guys have been asking me, oh my fucking trees, a lot of you guys have been asking me about like Amara La Negra, this whole like Amara La Negra and like Breakfast Club interview, Charlamagne the God situation. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop, but I got the gist of like what was said to her on the show, and we talked about it during the Bees Bake. Some people said they felt like that was like scripted, what the fucking guy said to her. I don't even know the guy's name. Young Hollywood, was that it? Something like that? I don't fucking know. I don't watch that shit. But yeah, so he's, you know, he says he made a colorist remark to her. Like, Amara La Negra is a dark-skinned Dominican singer that like wears her natural hair in an afro, which we also talked about this during Bees Bake. I used to follow her on Instagram. Like, I've been like familiar with her for a long time, like years. She's like a big singer in like DR and like in Miami and shit like that. Because some people were saying like, oh, that she like darkens her skin, like, which is like, what? Like, she darkens her skin and she's like wearing an afro because that's like what's popping right now. But it's like, that's like always been Amara La Negra's look for like years. Like, that's been her look from like even before like the quote unquote pro-black thing was like popping or whatever. And I'm sure that it was difficult for her like looking the way that she looks, which is what we're going to get into, right? So a colorist remark was made to her on the show. It kind of like ended up turning into this big thing about colorism, which I hate talking about colorism because like colorism is really one of those things that niggas can't talk about for some reason. Like, I've done maybe 3 or 4 videos on colorism on this channel, and after my last one I was like, I'm not making another video on colorism because that's just one of those issues that niggas are like super fucking absurd and ridiculous about. Oh, and you know what, I think we talked about it again last summer when I was in Toronto. I had like filmed a video while I was there because they had kind of like bubbled up again. People really feel like their personal experiences with colorism and to racism to a lesser extent, but I think we've kind of gotten to the point where everybody can, and I'm talking about like black people and like for the majority of black people, not like white people, like no, not them, but like I feel like we've gotten to the point where like the majority of black people can like admit to the fact that like racism exists, like systemic racism exists, like inequality and stuff like that. We have not gotten to that point with colorism, and there's people that will really like fight you tooth and nail against the fact that colorism exists, against like admitting that fucking colorism exists. It is so, and it is like so wild. Like people can understand like racism, but like they cannot understand colorism, which is nothing but internalized anti-black racism. It's internalized anti-black racism. It's internalized anti-blackness. It's an internalizing of the idea that, you know, darker skin makes you less than. And this is something that has been documented. Like, this is something that the stats bear out, like that fucking people have like dedicated like years of their lives to studying, especially as it pertains to institutions. If you guys haven't seen any of my previous videos on colorism, of course, they will either, you know, be popping up. If you click on the little eye in the right hand corner, there's like a drop down menu where videos pop up, and I'll also put them in the description box, of course. But it's like the stats, like people have studied like infrastructure, they've studied in institutions, like they've studied government, like they've studied the prison system, they've studied schooling, and like the numbers like bear it out, like that the darker you are, the more likely you are to suffer from fucking racism. Now, when you say that, 9 times out of 10, with people on a lighter end of the spectrum, not all, but lots, what they hear is, oh, so you're saying I don't experience racism. And it's like, no, nobody said that. Like, those are not the words that just came out of my mouth. No one is saying that you don't experience racism. Then they'd be like, oh, you're trying to like pull my black card, you're trying to like say I'm not black, and like the conversation like spins out into outer space, where now you're trying to like prove to this like lighter skinned person like that they are black and they do suffer from racism, which what? But anyways, like, no, the studies show that the darker you are, the more likely you are to be negatively fucking impacted by racism. If you fucking put a lighter skinned black person and a darker skinned person in front of a judge, the darker skinned person is more likely to get a longer, harsher prison sentence. If you put a lighter skinned person and a darker skinned person in front of a fucking school principal, the darker skinned person is more likely to get a longer fucking suspension, or to get kicked out of school, or to be fucking punished more harshly for the same fucking offense. Like this is the way that it fucking works because of fucking systemic fucking racism, anti-black racism. It means that the closer you are to whiteness, aka the lighter you are, the better. So it's like, oh, you a nigger, you still a nigger. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take your nigger card away from you, light-skinned people. You still a nigger if that makes you feel good. You still a nigger, but you still gonna get, you know, just a little bit extra because you're lighter. Like, and that's not like, and people like really feel some type of way when you say that, like, but it's like, that's the facts. Like, those are the facts. Like, those are the fucking facts. So getting back to fucking Amara La Negra, you know, she's talking about her experiences with colorism as a darker skinned, you know, Afro-Latinx woman, which again, fucking PSA, if you haven't seen this video, PSA, race, ethnicity, and nationality are not interchangeable, because I see a lot of people that are talking about like, she's not black, she's Dominican, or she can't be black because of this, she can't be black because of that. Like, no, her race is black, her ethnicity would be Hispanic or Latinx, depending, because I know a lot of people don't like to use the term Hispanic because of its kind of, it's like colonizer adjacent, which I feel like that makes sense. But like, her race would be black, her ethnicity would be Hispanic or Latinx, and her nationality would be Dominican. Like, it's not that hard to understand. If you have not seen my video on race, ethnicity, and nationality are not interchangeable, it will be in the description box or underneath the little I as well. Because it's like, she's black. Like, black Latinx people do exist. Like, I don't understand like why that is confusing to people. Like, I don't understand how like she goes on fucking The Breakfast Club, which I can't even believe that people still go on The Breakfast Club and that people even still watch The Breakfast Club, because Charlamagne is a fucking bully. Number one, he's ignorant. Like, he's one of those type of people that has a whole uninformed ass opinion. Like, you have a whole opinion on shit you know nothing about. And I hate, you guys know I hate a fucking uninformed opinion. I feel like an uninformed opinion is fucking shit. But like, Charlamagne is a bully and he's ignorant as fuck. And he just like makes shit up. And then you have fucking Envy and Angela Yee, who are fucking idiots. Like, they're pointless. Like, I don't even know why they're fucking there. Like, they're just there fucking playing backup, playing fucking little stooge to Charlamagne, and they bring people on that show and they bully them basically for ratings. And I don't watch their show. I don't listen to it on the radio. Like, I don't really like what they do. And they also bring people on there and they be like uninformed about like people's work. Like, people come on there to talk about projects and they want to ask them about dumb shit. Like, it's just like I just don't really care for like their whole fucking platform and what they do with their platform. My very first car video, which was like late 2016, was when Charlamagne had fucking went on the radio and said that black and Hispanic women don't use their platforms like Tommy Loren. Like, the nigga's a troll. So I would tell anyone still watching The Breakfast Club or listening to just take what he says with a grain of salt. Otherwise, you're going to be like perpetually offended, because Charlamagne, number one, he's a coon. Like, Charlamagne, see the coon. Like, see the coon is what he really is. Like, he's a tap dancing ass Negro, tap dancing for fucking massa. Like, always fucking making excuses for white people and especially white women. But yet, first thing he want to do is throw fucking black and Hispanic and Latinx girls, you know, non-black POC and shit like that up under the bus. Like, always talking about how black people, you know, he's one of those main people that is like, oh, black people are just fucking lazy, and if blacks and Hispanics would just like stop being lazy and get off their asses, like, systemic fucking racism isn't a real thing. Like, one of those types of people, like, you know, just get off your lazy ass and make it work. Even though the whole reason why you even have a platform is because you fucking built that shit off the back of a black woman, Wendy Williams. We're not even gonna go there. That man is a coon, he's a troll, he'll say whatever for attention. So I don't really find it like surprising, which is really rolling, sorry guys. I don't really find it all that surprising that he tried to fucking gaslight her by asking her, you know, like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure that colorism exists? Are you sure that that shit is, like, not just all in your head? Are you sure you're not just making it up? Like, again, like, you're uninformed. Like, he's uninformed. Anybody, and I feel like anybody that tries to, like, make the argument that, like, colorism is not real is uninformed and is willfully ignorant, because like I said, you can very easily Google, like, yo, Google ain't broke, I put it on a motherfucking shirt. Like, your Google is not broke. You can easily look up, again, the studies, the statistics that show that darker skinned people are more harshly impacted by systemic racism. Again, not to take a nigger card away from the light skins, you still a nigger, but the darker you are, the more severely you are impacted. Like, and it becomes even more glaring and apparent when you also throw in gender, because studies have also shown that darker skinned women really suffer disproportionately when compared to lighter skinned women, and especially here in the United States, because we have all these holdovers from American chattel slavery, like, on, you know, lighter skin being seen as more feminine, more innocent, more pure, more desirable, again, closer to whiteness, closer to white women. You can also start getting into, like, passing and stuff like that, you know, like, the closer you are to looking like a white woman, the more worthy you are of protection. The darker you are, darker skin is seen as more masculine. Like, darker skinned women were out working in the fields, you know, with the men. Like, there is a fucking dichotomy there, and for you to say that there is not means you're ignorant. Like, you're ignorant of history, you're willfully ignorant of history, you're willfully ignorant of statistics, you're ignorant of the studies, and you don't want to learn. You just want to open your big mouth and talk, and that's what fucking C the Coon likes to do. He likes to open his big fucking mouth and spout his uninformed opinion all over the fucking interwebs. Like, that's what the nigga does. So colorism is real. Like fucking, like, Andre 3000, like, across all cultures, like, darker skinned people suffer most. Like, if you fucking look at the caste system in India, like anti-blackness, global anti-blackness, internalized anti-blackness, anti-black racism here in the United States as well as abroad is a very fucking real thing, which is also, I've seen a lot of people saying, like, oh, Amara La Negra can't be black because most Dominicans don't claim their blackness. Like, number one, there's a lot of black Dominicans. Like, I've been to DR, there's a lot of fucking black Dominicans, a lot of them. Like, there are a lot of Dominicans that do claim their blackness, but they also claim their ethnicity as Latinx. They also claim their nationality as Dominican. Like, they can be all those things at once. You can still be black even if you're not, like, American. Like, duh. Like, I find that to be fucking really weird. You're not a black American. You're not a fucking descendant of American chattel slavery, but, like, that's American is, like, my nationality, like, and black is my race. And I also have a video on, like, is black American descendant of chattel slavery its own ethnicity, which you can watch that video if you haven't seen that. But it's like, people get all this stuff, like, kind of confused, like, race and ethnicity and nationality, and it's like, all those things are separate. She can be fucking black, Latinx, and Dominican all at once. I'm sure she has experienced huge issues with colorism as a darker skinned woman with a fucking afro, you know, with, like, kinky hair. And to say otherwise, again, is to be willfully ignorant and to just straight up fucking ignore facts. Like, and just like I was saying in my fucking Toronto video, people feel like their individual experiences bear out facts. Well, I've never had a fucking issue with colorism, so that means colorism doesn't exist. Well, bitch, just because you never been hungry doesn't mean world hunger doesn't fucking exist. Like, well, I have never experienced fucking racism, so that shit doesn't exist. Like, nigga, the world does not revolve around you and your individual experiences, and you cannot tell another person what they have or have not fucking experienced, my dude. Like, especially when we're talking about, like, large systems and structures like systemic racism and the way that it plays out, that can be proven. Like, it has been studied, it can be proven. So It's like, and I hate, like I said, I hate having the colorism conversation because people don't like to listen. Like, people don't like to listen. They just want to fucking believe what they want to believe. And I've talked about this before too on this channel. Nobody likes being told that they have a little bit of privilege. Like, be it whether it's privilege for being fucking light skinned, whether it's privilege for being able bodied, whether it's privilege for fucking sexual orientation, like whatever. Nobody likes being told that they have a little bit of privilege. But like, it's true. Like, those are the fucking facts, being like just the facts. So that's what I have to say about that. Colorism is real. It's proven. Amara La Negra is black. Charlamagne is a coon and a bully. Stop watching The Breakfast Club. Car video. Peace.